But then guns sticking to their head, but they
Hi.
can leave. Sitting in one place.
Hi, David. Can't remember who I'm with. So, Enhanced CV1 Transportation and Street Activity Permit Committee. I'm joined by Jess Coleman, the co-chair, and Jack Balmer, district manager. We have a small group. We do not have quorum, so we will not be able to start. Jenna, long time no see. I know.
Oh, yeah.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sure. It was not a Wednesday, so it doesn't conflict. Yes, she does.
That's it. Sticks.
Yeah, we're one short, we're still one short for, unless Brendan goes on. So, given that, why don't we start with, we can't do the resolution, start with agenda item 2 and take a look at job guide with everyone's favorite thing. And it's important to go through and clean out because there's been numerous problems in the past. Such as they've been left kind of static for years and years. So an input on what we get rid of, what we resolve. Let's go on. The room has a paper copy of it. Zach can put it online.
Yeah.
Zach will share his screen and see.
And Betty, could you talk just a tad louder, or maybe people in the room are quieter, because it's not, full sentences aren't coming through. Thank you.
And we'll start at the beginning. This is from fiscal year 25. We are really talking about fiscal year 26. What we're really doing at this point is cleaning out what's been standing, continuing on for years and years. Although I did add 3 at the end, which are ones we've discussed in previous meetings from this past year's resolutions. Anyway, some of the problems. Do you want to start with, just what do you think of just starting with the comment and see what it is you want to the item? It's the fastest way to do it. We have by far the most, many committees.
Yeah. What do you mean? Obviously, miles of them.
The committee comments are actually my comments.
Yeah.
I put in to remind me for tonight, and they will be replaced with whatever is decided.
Are all of these ours, or this is the whole community?
No, this is all.
This is out.
So I think we need to be,
Then why do we now?
I think we need to have a quick,
It's not transportation related.
we need to be like pretty aggressive, I think, in getting rid of things that.
Yeah.
So for example, this first one. So vague. It's never gonna go anywhere because it doesn't.
But that also is a project that DOB is already trying to do on a regular basis, and they're already making pedestrian ramps. I mean,
Right.
that's already a DOT priority that they're funding, and they're doing it fastest rate they can.
Right.
Because they already have a directive.
Well, they're not meeting a court order date, but nothing's going to speed it up. There are other reasons.
Yeah.
On that guy happens without locations. This is too unspecific.
I would have it.
So, yeah.
Any of it.
That you can take notes about cutting it. I'll go through the tape tomorrow and just change it.
Noted. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Sorry, I'm late, so I don't want to hold it up.
We just.
I figured that was item 1, so I wasn't that late, but, so it is arts and that's why we're deleting it, or?
No, we're deleting this because it's already something that DOT is doing, so we don't need to specifically put it in our budget
I
request.
assume,
That's not specific.
unless we
It
wanted
is
to.
too, it's too big.
Okay, number 2.
Okay.
Let's do that column, look at my column
Yeah.
that you introduced.
I'm not entirely clear on what this really means.
Oh, the traffic study around the detention center.
Right, but like around how the demolition will affect traffic?
Well, and that's why I said that actually it's an outdated request
Yeah.
at this point.
Because the demo's done.
Right, so I would say,
Yeah, I don't, yeah. Yeah. It's particularly helpful.
Okay.
well,
Or
that's
street
not
light.
it.
Oh, Yeah,
Yeah.
because the comment.
Next is another study request.
This one I would
Oh, it's now.
I would leave.
They haven't really done the study of Canal Street, because it should be just about done.
One,
They should have had it almost a year ago. Anyway, I would delete this too, because they've already done, for the canal redesign, they had to do a very detailed study.
Are they gonna do another redesign, or the redesign they did is what they're doing?
This redesign's been going on for quite a while.
No, they put in some stuff, and it's still a disaster.
No, they haven't come to us about their project actually going on. In fact, we've been asking for information about the traffic study and the redesign and
Okay.
haven't heard. So don't worry about being a disaster, because they obviously know this.
You wanted to press this one?
Yeah.
Yes.
next.
You want to get rid of it? Can I make a comment on that one? I mean, I think Canal Street is pretty much of a horror show in terms of pedestrian safety, deliveries, traffic flow. And
We know, Justine, but this is,
They're
yeah,
already studying it.
this is asking for.
They are, it's already under, and we're sure it's under study?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
done.
Thank you.
Again, it's kind of vague. Is this just document enforcement of like open dining regulations?
Yeah, I put that road bed dining doesn't even start yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so that, it should be probably, that we don't even know who their staffing is yet, because they're not even.
The whole thing is changing. Right.
It's changed, yeah.
Yeah, you saw all the ones, so many of them are moved.
They have, but even the dining meal food program hasn't actually, in terms of this kind of request, hasn't really started yet.
So Justine, we're saying no also to E4 because the whole program's changing.
Makes sense. That makes sense to me because it is totally different. So that makes sense. Thank you.
This next one, we're talking about a shared street in front of daycare center. There's the new, like, there's this new, the new DOT program to make shared streets and open streets in front of schools, right? It's like a real thing that's happened.
I saw it on one street on the Upper
Yeah.
East Side.
It's great, but
They're doing the more priority areas, but in fact, I still said I would consider cutting this one.
yeah,
Because we are still waiting for the DOT's pedestrian priority program, which we were told in the fall we would hear about. So let's find out from them what they've already planned.
yeah, so
and implement it.
appropriate for the budget item anyway.
So that's not,
What we're doing here, folks?
Wait, can I ask a question? So this goes to the larger question. Is the budget a tool for forcing change? Like, if we want them to come and give us an update on pedestrian priority and then cut all the things that have to do with pedestrian priority, will we lose any leverage?
So at all.
But, because look at how many we have, and what are we supposed to have,
I
like
think
5?
we lose leverage by doing it the way.
No.
Right, no, I get that, but like, are we gonna then group them by, there are,
Yeah, I mean,
okay,
if there are
sorry.
things in here I mean, we're gonna be cutting things that we care about. If we wanna bring them up, we're gonna do a resolution, that might be the more appropriate way to do it anyway for some of these things, right? So
but some of these have lived their
you
days.
shouldn't just go away and are like, so if you care about them, note it, and we'll.
We're after the pedestrian priority, and we're supposed to hear from the DOT. They keep telling us it's going to be this fall. They're gonna start their stakeholder meetings. We haven't gotten a date. Right, on the 26th.
Like,
The
that's,
C13.
that seems incredibly unrelated to transportation.
Oh, no, I was gonna get this one anyway. Okay.
Build or expand affordable worker research lab spaces related to key industries such as film, TV, advancement.
No, that's not.
No.
No,
Look
that's
at-
the
look at
request.
Column G.
We don't have it by G.
Oh.
You mean reason?
Yeah.
Oh. Pier 6 heliport pier.
Infrastructure needed for marine freight deliveries. Said deliveries can be distributed by cargo bikes in place of the trucks that are currently used.
Okay, what I said is EDC has already given us their timeline, and they are working with Empire Clean City. I still want to come in and install. So this is in process. This would have no effect whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's in process.
Yeah.
The next one's negative. Check that one.
Next one's a negative,
For 28.
because it's the wrong agency, right?
That's in general.
But whatever, yeah.
This is another one of those shared street pedestrian safety issues.
Love this.
Too vague and might partially be under parks. Cut.
No, it's partially under the Port Authority
Oh.
because they control the street.
That area is.
Okay.
is-
So in fact,
Oh, yes.
Right.
we found a walk around with it with Tammy, so they are very aware of that. It's certainly looking at it. The Port Authority makes the decisions, even, the DOT is still a DOT. But the Port Authority, it's in their area.
Mhm.
And they were agreeable, but money has to come up from them as well. It's,
I think Tammy's gonna wanna keep this one.
I think
But this doesn't
Yeah,
go to the Port Authority, our budget requests.
right, because Port Authority isn't in the city budget.
There's some DOT. parts to it. Not entirely.
Can I
I'm sick.
suggest that this go under that pedestrian priority group
You know
update
what?
thing?
This is what I'm gonna do.
Negative.
I'm going to move
When you
it,
say it's negative, you mean the agency has already said.
It's already coming.
I'm gonna move it to,
So we'd be asking for something that they already said no to.
That's within your purview, and do what you gotta do.
okay, now,
Okay, so Zach, you rescued that one onto a different list?
Fine.
Okay. Okay, that one will
it's
be
off, it's
considered
off your table.
differently.
I don't think we should get rid of it if it's
No, it-
pedestrian
It's
safety.
been rescued, it's onto a different.
No, I understand.
list.
I understand that he's rescued it to another committee. I'm just saying that if we have items on here that are grouped under a certain type of issue that we want addressed, we should note them for ourselves. So when DOT comes in, we say,
Absolutely.
we want an update on C14 and E12.
Well, believe me, I remember these so well.
I trust you
But
entirely.
especially with the Port authorities, you're getting into, there's a whole nother agency that has nothing to do with the city budget. It's involved, and their pocketbooks is involved. And so that's one of the real pitfalls to this mechanism. In that. Okay, next one.
C15.
This was also a negative from the agency. I think it's a little vague to begin with. We could reword it, it's trying to be more specific.
It's negative, so.
So when she says it's negative, that just means it was already passed,
DOT is.
so it's no use to ask
So
again.
even if the DOT says no, that doesn't mean that we have to accept, I mean, why do we can still advocate for it, not that I support it, you know, more than it is, but
Yeah.
why do we have to take what they
Yeah.
say?
I agree with Eric. Yeah.
I think generally, like, you can say whatever you want, right? You can ask for, unicorns and rainbows. So, like, there's no rule on you can't ask for something. If they say no, you should probably think about that and then change how you're asking it, or don't ask again. That would be my suggestion.
Like,
You can still say it again, because you can do whatever you want.
This is just one after that. This is for specific, this is not a laundry
Right.
list of all priorities, this is just like specific things we want funded. There are other ways to advocate for things, so we do all year. So,
I can tell you the DOT has been doing an education program in this area.
Okay.
Because they're on Twitter.
I would cut it because it's not a capital item generally.
right.
Right.
I think it's an issue for just ongoing operations and we should bring it up with Kate.
Right,
But it's not a budget item.
right. And that's a different reason.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or legislation, right? Like, I mean, it's,
Okay, so we're gonna get rid of that one.
Mhm.
We're on line 30, okay. The next one, DOT response was to spend this to the DEP. Second is request for study, so it has kind of similar things about it. The DEP, get another.
that's a slow most of it.
we have several
Maybe
related.
it's the same thing. Basically just
So
change
that the
minutes.
DOT is working with Tribeca North Neighborhood Association on this. one.
That's Jared. We also have several of these Holland Tunnel related things that they're working on, right?
I was gonna say, this is one you have to think about with the, we'll call them the Holland Tunnel. Why, these were all submitted by the North Tribeca Neighborhood Association last year. There's a whole bunch of them. And the DOT has already told us by email that they are working on a street improvement project around this issue. They have seen this, they will do what they're going to do, we'll see which they accept, which they don't accept. Within their agency rules, their funding, they are currently working with the Port Authority, who also controls a lot of these streets because of them all the time. So I would give it a simple,
Yeah.
I think E15.
what do other people think?
Yeah,
I totally agree.
I agree.
because our list is just astronomically long.
Then DOT is working on it.
I'm grouping it as traffic study updates, Holland Tunnel, Canal Street.
Put it under the Holland Tunnel there. But that's really where it goes, that particular case.
Tunnel is just an absolute nightmare.
It is.
This
This is the placard study and audit.
yeah.
Now, here you have, yes, I would do this one.
Larry of the river. Because there's also that large investigative, the report from the Department of Investigations, right?
And it was marked negative,
Right.
so I think we're just
If
wasting.
we're gonna talk about placards, I think we should be more specific and more aggressive.
So I looked, when I looked at every single car in an area, so there's lots of data.
Yeah, we don't need more studies of
Yes.
placards.
Enforcement.
So, yeah, you get rid of that one too.
Boots.
Yep.
This one. This one I didn't write a comment about, but I can see what I'm thinking.
Okay, well, here,
Is it this part of arts?
yeah, so this is a good opportunity to discuss the arts situation.
Can I just say, if art stand for something, was really.
Yeah, it does, 1 second. Is Kate online? Because I was gonna look.
Yeah, she has her hand.
Yep. Hi, I'm online virtually, Betty. Can you hear me? Hello?
Can hear you.
Okay, great. No one was responding. Yeah. So just in regards to arts, and we talked about this a little bit last month, and I shared with Betty by email today. So arts is stands for Agency Response Tracking System. It is the system that DOT uses to track and respond to the different requests that we've receive that come through our website and through 311. So a lot of the requests that were made for FY25 last year, you received the response, this should be an arts case or enter into arts. That was meant to say, like, if it was something like where you were requesting additional signage or automated pedestrian signal for a specific corner or location, those specific individual requests should go to, you can send them to my office, or you can enter them online through DOT's website. And I shared that with Betty as well. But that's especially for like the smaller hyper-specific requests that you had been making in the past.
Okay, thank you. And if like we did a resolution because we wanted a urban extension somewhere, would that end up in arts?
Yep, but our office also receives it, and when we receive resolutions from the community boards, we do log them that way through arts as well. But we try to prioritize the CB's requests when we get them.
And I want to know that Kate also, while doing this, gave me the tracking numbers for the ones that are on our budget. So now we know they are entered in arts. I'm not so sure they were before. And we have tracking numbers, so that has that information.
So can we then just agree that we're removing all the ones that are indicated in this spreadsheet are referred to arts?
I would get rid of the arts, and I'll circle those that people say are still really important, and we'll look at them as a future committee.
Yes, as a topic for discussion or.
I just had a question, and then, people with low or no vision, and then, and then the agency category description was this request requires further study. Let's even take out the word low. People with no vision, what further study would anybody need to say that, yeah, the auditory signal might help them?
Oh, well, no, that's a term that was used a lot for a lot of reasons.
So it's not really like,
Yeah, they did that when there's a street corner listed and they say, need more information.
It's a
So-
stock response, and who can blame them when?
I mean, that's just, it's pretty black and white to me that somebody with low or no vision, an auditory signal would help in any situation.
Right, but let me tell you what happened I've been tracking these for years.
Okay.
What happened, the response we got in another year, this is probably the reason I get rid of it now, is that the DOT has very specific criteria for which corners, where they'll put them. They also, that we don't need, and this doesn't even specify locations.
But,
So this is just not a good mechanism for doing it.
okay.
We do have one for the corner of Albany and West Street.
Street.
That's a specific location. That's different than this is just, I'd say, too generic.
Yeah, this was just generic along Center Street, like by the government buildings.
Right.
I was just having trouble seeing how anybody could be against something like that.
They
Yes.
installed them.
Okay.
They did it on Center Street.
They did it at Center, and they did it on Greenwich and Wayne, where the school crossings are. There's anyway,
Right,
there's
so
a
again, where we got,
vision
where
for
they should be.
Doesn't hurt anybody.
There is another place, in fact, we should look at on Canal Street. There is a low vision, there's a nonprofit that work with people who are blind and low vision. Right across in Soho. And he have said in the past, they get a lot of complaints from their clients, often who come from our district. Or via our district about, there are very few APSs for
We
this.
still got like 11 pages here, so so,
So
arts,
Arts is now all deleted, and then we'll have a system for monitoring
yes,
their
monitoring and or
and file.
office resolutions.
Right.
Um,
This is about Battery Park City. That's
Please contact the agency directly. as
Oh,
effective.
Zach, did you just change this one?
Did I just change it?
No, this was in here before from when you sent it around about the street namings being difficult for EMS to find.
It sounds like the 311, 911 that we just did the Battery Park City Committee, so.
But this is,
Just make sure this doesn't duplicate that.
I think did we take it out, Betty, of the Battery Park City Committee, or we left it? I should remember. I was just there.
I was just pointing out to Zach that we should look to see, because this could be gotten rid of simply as a duplicate.
Agreed. I forget what we did.
Jason Better, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we just take this one to the Battery Park City Committee?
Yeah, maybe. I almost like the way you guys wrote it here better than what we did, but I think we got rid of it.
Which is why. I think it's a whole area that needs to be investigated, because it's a whole problem with 311 and 911, with having to enter.
Exactly. And they can't find people. Exactly.
I am, you said, if you're in a park or anywhere else.
Yeah.
what building are you in?
if you're in a park or you're on a street that doesn't have a building.
So this, I mean, you know, from this, it says contact FDNY, so to me, I would, if this is a big issue, like bring in FDNY to a committee meeting. Absolutely.
Yeah, you mean instead of budget
And
item?
then we could whack it.
Okay, whack.
Yes.
We're whacking it. We're gonna bring in FDNY to a committee meeting instead. Find out what their issue is.
Probably the better question, right?
Mhm.
You can go anywhere. But yeah, just how do they do locations? Because if you ever try to find somebody in any park in the city, you're not next to a building. It's just a problem.
That's true.
Okay,
That is true.
So setting up a turn from 9A, Albany Street.
I think this has been here for a while, right?
Doesn't this go into the grouping of traffic studies?
There's another one of the studies, which we have to decide, what do you want to do about studies?
I say
Do
we,
you have anything to say about, is there operational funds at the DOT for just doing these studies? Not related to any kind of project?
It's the question.
Jake?
I don't know if she can hear you. Kate?
I can hear you. Wait, so could you just restate the question? I only heard half of it.
Here's was about studying left, a specific left-hand turn from southbound West Street onto Albany Street. Or does DOT have operational funds to do studies just because they're requested to do a focused study? Like
So-
before those, they were told no.
So I guess the question here, and I'll have to take back, is what in particular are you looking for to have studied? Is there a concern about the speed of vehicles? Is it?
No, it's the feasibility, because apparently there used to be one and they wanted that.
Okay,
It's access, basically, as Betty just said. We used to be able to turn left, when traveling southbound, we used to be able to turn left onto Albany Street, and now we cannot.
okay. So for that, I'm going to check with my colleagues to see if that is an appropriate budget ask.
Support for 9/11.
There's another thing I won't know.
Oh, so they had it like 22 years ago?
Mhm.
Exactly. We used to have it, and then at 9/11, they closed everything down, and then they changed everything up. But it does limit access.
South. If you're coming down the West Side Highway, you've either got to turn onto Chambers Street and circle all the way around, get to where I live, or you've got to go all the way down to the bottom of, to the park and come back up the West Side Highway to be able to make the right turn onto Albany Street. We used to have the turn. And we used to have a turn onto Liberty. So since they took the turn away from us on Liberty, we at least have a turn back.
Exactly. And I think you have to do a study before you could put the turn back. So that's why we're asking for a study, right?
Let's go on to one.
We're moving on. We're gonna wait to hear if there's funding for that.
My comment about this one, you have 40.
C20.
Oh, sorry.
C20.
So this is again another traffic study,
No.
no traffic calming.
Not the problem. Well, that's not the issue. According to my notes, this is the same as expense priority number 30, that's on line 61. So it's a duplicate. And it's not matter which of the two to get rid of, but obviously.
Got rid of this one because we're here.
Okay.
Well, both of them deal with Dover and,
Correct, they're exactly, they're
Frankfurt.
identical.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on.
Okay, duplicate.
In fact, you can decide on the priority since you're getting rid of one.
Okay.
So still with under 30 expense as well as on line 61. Yeah.
Okay, C21, delete.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not funding
They're not
them.
funding it. There's a business
Okay.
improvement district.
We're not Bishop Crooks.
That's it. Bishop Crooks have to be funded by an organization. So like Friends of Duane Park paid for and installed the lights in Duane Park. So unless you've got a benefactor, you don't.
Other than that, we'll go after looking at that. There's another one with.
There used to be state funding for that,
You
Yeah.
can get a grant for it.
multimodal.
If you have a state assembly person who
Yeah.
will advocate for it, they might get it for.
Well, then we'll look more into that alternative, but yeah, this is not the way to do it.
Not a city.
Oh, okay, the ferry is very, again, the only the Staten Island ferry was the DOT. Well, I switched to EDC. This is one where I changed.
Yeah,
You changed.
I did.
this is also like a
That's
massive.
their. They put the agencies in, the city did.
Well, in any case. This is,
But yeah.
C26, funding to support cities' electrification of ferries.
DOT, my note, it was DOT only manages the Staten Island ferry. The EDC controls New York City ferries, so we should at least send it to EDC. not to-
yeah. But also, like, this is a citywide massive undertaking.
Right, so we're deleting.
Delete.
Budget request here.
Yeah.
28 thing,
Because they're doing that.
yeah.
Duplication of number 52 and Number 52 and number 57 are identical.
But you gotta tell us by the E28.
Yes, you could give us the E,
So are
the
you
type
saying,
and priority number. We
Okay.
don't have line numbers.
E26 and E28 were deleted.
Are gone.
okay, because E28 is a duplicate.
On T29. This is the subject of massive debate. And I don't think it's appropriate for a budget request. And there's the SIP. There's likely to be some funding elsewhere.
That's why
I think this wouldn't this go into one of those, please ask the DOT to come in and give us an update?
Not at this point, they're not ready
The
to.
Park Road is like a very specific thing that's like
Yeah, it's very,
very.
it's very political right
Yeah.
now,
Involved.
so.
Yeah.
And there are like groups and, I can't think of the name of it now, but there are groups from Chinatown that are involved too. So yeah, I think it should not be a budget request, but it is something we should be paying attention to.
But are there groups that have asked for community board support in the form of funding? Because maybe that's why it's a budget.
Dean, I don't know about, but I know that they've come before the community board. Pat, is it before?
Wait,
Justine.
Betty
It's
wants
hard
to
to hear. I think no one can hear you on the owl. We should move it.
This was put in before the SIP was announced, the street improvement project. The street improvement project fills in some of the void. The DOT also said they are going to still do the big Chinatown. But it's off in a few years, so this doesn't belong.
There's a study that's ongoing. They're gonna release a plan. They're doing temporary improvements. They're still waiting for a ton of funding that they need. This is not gonna go anywhere.
So not for this next fiscal year.
Not the fiscal year 26, because since this was first written, there was a SIP announced. It is being implemented now, and they have pushed back the other one.
The larger project, right?
So it's
And they
not-
do have funding for the Kinloss Square part of it, but that's what, so, yeah, there's a lot about.
Yes. Okay.
At this point, it's kind of out of date,
Yes,
for what's happened.
parts, gone.
What, you mean E30?
E30 is gone
Okay,
because it's
right.
Hertz.
And it's also, it seems like this might be a duplicate, yeah, so. That's what we're doing.
I'm still gonna note E29 for follow-up.
Well,
Yeah.
There is some,
I can send you some stuff.
just a SIP.
Thank
on
you.
Park Road.
This one, mid-block crosswalk where?
It's on Warren Street between West Street and North End.
A mid?
But that, look, it also says.
Yes, it goes from 89 across to the ball field.
Yeah. That is an extremely dangerous intersection.
It's not an intersection, it's middle of the block.
Well, yeah, the whole area is dangerous.
Well, actually, I'm very against this one, because I don't even know who put it in, whoever put it in.
Well, I think it was a resolution last year.
It was, no. This goes back 4 or 5 years. This predates me, as you always know.
Oh, but we did have a discussion about it
Yeah,
while
but-
I was around.
Yes, we talked about it on the budget, I think, last time, yeah.
Oh, is that why?
We talk about it every year on the budget.
So you're saying put a crosswalk, like where the ball field exit is?
There's a crosswalk
And the-
at West Street, there's a crosswalk at North End
You
down.
want it-
School's in the middle, they want to put it in the middle.
Yeah.
It is a bus
That's
route.
where the bus takes the stuff.
There is a city rule that any bike or bus, any motor vehicle has to come to a complete stop at a crosswalk.
But we're dealing with young kids that might not, unless they're with a supervised adult, they might take a chance and they might go like, they might not walk where they're supposed to on each corner. So I personally, when my kids were that age, I would have been in favor of it, so I gotta stay in
Actually,
favor
a
of it.
kid did that and got a broken leg when the car hit him.
No,
Yeah.
that's.
That's why we could be useful to have the crosswalk there, if I can say something.
Now, do you really think, have you ever seen the cars buzzing around that block? It is unbelievable chaos.
Wouldn't there be a stop sign before the crosswalk today? I'm just curious.
There's a crosswalk and stop
I
sign.
know, but if a crosswalk was added, would a stop sign be also added?
Thank you.
And,
That's what I was
and isn't this something more akin to arts also?
It is art.
Yep. Hi, this is Kate. I'm just going to interject and say, so this has been entered into arts to be studied by our signals unit, and they would be the ones determining if this location meets the warrant for a crosswalk and a stop sign.
Oh.
So it's already,
It's
it's
already.
already.
Yes.
That is a great candidate on one of those open streets in front of the schools that would
Mhm.
be
Yeah.
better, right between the ball fields and school.
Much for take. And you got kids running through the ball fields, you know. There's a false sense of safety.
Share street. But that's a discussion for another. It's already-
Right,
Right.
arts is gone, but we're gonna follow up with Kate so that we can find out where these arts things are.
Sure.
Yes.
I shared with Betty a list
Yeah.
of case numbers, and you can check them on the DOT website. So it's not just for, say, a budget request, but if, any of us had a complaint about a pothole or something on our street, you can make a request on DOT's website or through 311. And this is just the internal system that DOT uses to track them. So you can always feel free to make a request in the day-to-day as well.
Thanks, Kate.
Thank you. My God, what would we do?
Indeed.
We're back on Albany Street, huh?
This is all the APS. Very specific. Question is, do we combine the two? Since one of them was for left-hand turn and one of them was for an APS system, but they're at the same intersection. We better off to address it as an intersection problem, or we better off to leave this two separate issues at the same intersection?
I don't think she can hear you. I think you.
Sorry, Betty, I'm only getting about half of what you're saying. Were you asking if this should be consolidated with the other Albany Street item?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So for the crossing, okay. So for the crossing guard, that's an NYPD ask. And we can also, what other safety enhancements are you looking for at this intersection?
Take this out.
Yeah, it's not very specific. That's another.
These two chairs out.
What do you want to do?
Okay.
Isn't this something that could be entered into arts then, or no?
Yep, we can do that. But just want to clarify that the crossing guard is an NYPD request.
Yes, thank you.
So the audible signals and other safety enhancements will go into arts
Yes.
Yeah, we make sure we ask for it.
in C30, that's C32.
Yes. That's one is NYPD's.
At the Holland Tunnel again, right?
That one's already entered the pedestrian
Okay.
crosswalk signage. But I will say, I don't believe that New York State law stop for pedestrians. I don't think that's a sign that DOT has, or that's in our toolkit. So that will be reviewed.
Okay, otherwise that still goes with the Holland, so.
And it's arts.
Onward, let's keep powering through it, folks. We're making art gone. Holland Tunnel again. This is the subject of the SIP.
35.
E35 should go. All these on.
Yeah.
The Record Street Bridge. This one's been here for a while as well, I believe.
Actually, that's a long gone deal. That bridge was taken down a long time
It's
ago.
taken down,
West
like-
End was put in instead. Let's definitely get rid of it. Yes, I mean, that's.
Asking for adding auditory signal at that corner, not about the bridge. I'm not fighting about the bridge. They're asking for a signal so blind people can get across.
Right. And we already addressed
I
that.
don't know if that's a budget request or not, but that might be an arts thing.
Yeah, I think that's what we said. The auditory signals, Kate, can you just confirm that those go in arts?
I will have to double check that and get back to you.
Okay.
Next one, another.
Another Holland Tunnel. Okay, the cobblestones.
Am I crossing out?
They're all
Yes.
arts.
36 we
They're all-
got down.
Yeah. all of these cobblestones are arts. And obviously the subject of self resolution.
Okay.
Maybe get updated.
Well, I was gonna say, well, Terry, what did you want to say about cobblestones?
So I think that, I'm okay with, I don't think that the budget is the right place to advocate for repairs, adequate repairs. And we have the resolution about meeting guidelines, so I don't think it's appropriate for the budget. I do think it's appropriate for a follow-up meeting with DOT to say, okay, we've asked for design guidelines, where are you in that process? Is it at all in our future? And
As well as the repair of the cobblestones.
and the repairs, right, we have the numbers from arts, so we'll be able to track them. But what is it that they're missing to do the needed repairs? Right? Do they need to fill it with sand? Is there some, because they're safety hazards.
They certainly are. Okay.
We do it in our committee, or does it have to go back to quality of life? We keep going back and forth between us and quality of life,
Sorry.
the cobblestones.
Transportation, by the way, I would vote to keep it. We spent a lot of
Wait,
time on it.
what one? E37?
E37 is gone.
E37 is arts cobblestone.
No,
Enforcement.
no, C37 is
C37.
the Belgian block.
Yes, right.
Yes.
C37 is enforcement of open streets and
Enforcement of
lower,
open streets.
which is so big.
I don't know what that means.
But it says it's already been funded if you, on the agency category.
Right, I mean, that's the problem, is when you say enforcement of anything, they're gonna say it's already funded because there is the NYPD. So that's not worth keeping,
It's too vague.
unless we want to be more specific about something.
I'm saying, no, you have to target a particular, we want Stone Street. We have very limited open streets.
We do, we're losing one.
And quality of life could have NYPD there.
Oh, but the open streets we have are Stone Street and Peck Slip.
Well, something's not even an open street, right? It's a pedestrian plaza now. It's not even technically an open street, right?
Peck Slip
But I think that's the only one.
is an open street. No, Stone Street, I think, is still
And then
the check. I've seen them recently, but like I said, it's a tiny little number and they're not particularly problems for our NYPD presence.
Right.
As far as the site of those, I agree.
E37 gone.
Either from gone.
E38, reconstruct and restore the best streets.
Cobblestone.
Okay,
Gone.
arts, okay, gone, right. It's already ended.
38.
Again, this is wayfinding, which Kate said. Where does the wayfinding stuff go? Is that arts because it's signage and wayfinding?
Sorry, could you go back to the orange highlighted request?
E38?
So for 38, I entered that one into arts because that sounds like, based on what you're asking, is for a signal adjustment, because the complaint is, oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking of the wrong one.
Sound like they're asking for a street one or.
Installation of stage or spotlights.
Directly above the pedestrian crossings for the on-ramp for the Brooklyn Bridge and FDR on Pearl Street.
Okay. I think, sorry, you had another Pearl Street request that I was confusing this with. I would say for now, keep this one, and I will check to confirm that it's good for the budget requests.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that, we're keeping one.
Yeah, Kate.
The wording of it is,
Worded.
yeah, the wording of it is like,
Deleted.
Who's taking on the rewrite?
Whoa.
I will do all of these, try to take.
We could just stop after the parenthetical that says Brooklyn Bridge, and then take away the.
We can work on that.
okay,
Cobblestone's gone.
is this C39?
39
Okay.
longer.
Okay, because it's
39 is arts.
E39.
I do want to call attention to this one though, it's on Staple Street, because it's a particularly unique and historic street. So of all the cobblestone requests, I think Staple Street is the one priority project.
It might already be entered in arts.
Well, I was like, why not just keep it and put it in here and I'll put your comment about this being Avon. desired place for a film and other,
Yeah,
it is an attraction besides just.
it's an attraction and a film destination.
As well. Across it, I will go back and rewrite this one a little specifically for Staples Place.
Stable Street is getting some love today.
Long overdue.
Yeah, rarely gets. Traffic calming installation for Fulton Street and Cliff Street is needed. Love the passive voice you don't. Is needed for pedestrians to safely cross Fulton Street.
What traffic?
What type of device?
Yeah.
Well, again, I think traffic calming installation we've heard is an arts situation, right? Anyone?
Yeah, we can undo that.
So it's
Okay, arts.
cobblestones. This doesn't say cobblestones, but yeah, between
It's-
it's
It's cobblestones.
Yeah.
All this roadway maintenance resurfacing is,
yeah.
Okay.
C40 cross.
Yes. And,
C40 should be entered into arts if it's not already.
yeah. And,
Cobblestone.
E39 was crossed too.
This one
E40.
seems like it has been taken under advisement already, right? It's being considered the federal bicycle network development program. So we keep it.
When are we on?
The cargo bikes.
40, develop a plan to accommodate 48-inch wide cargo delivery bikes.
Well, since it's already part of a federally funded project, it's been noticed, should it be cut for 26? Yeah, I would say, yeah, that's a year and a half from now.
Does DOT need our support for this? Like,
Not if it's funded.
if it's federally funded, but is there additional support that they would need for, that we would want for this implementation?
They went and got the money. They wrote the grants to get the money.
Okay.
Believe me, they don't need anything. And this has nothing specific to us.
Yeah, but and again, I feel like support, like that's more appropriate for resolution.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of this is also around the Tier 6, what's going to be happening there. So it's related to other projects that are going on, the Blue Highways.
So,
Greenwich
gone.
is cobblestones. Plan for projected, we've had a resolution on this. They're already there, as far as I know.
I don't know if they are.
which one?
Already know.
41.
They're aware of it and it's,
He says it's already being done.
Request for the study.
Kate, is this one in arts already? Bike lane?
That
Rich?
that one is not. I have to check with my colleagues if that's appropriate for the budget.
Okay, so then maybe we should leave it.
Yeah.
I would leave that. I'm not sure why would that one be arts? Because that's like a serious.
Yeah, this would be a study and this would be.
Yeah, they told us.
What was it about saying where?
Yeah, well, this was the problem.
Well,
if you
that's the
remember.
problem is,
Were you here for that? That debate?
Oh,
I think you were not here.
every street was top.
where it is.
Reed Street is awesome.
This is the chambers.
This is
issue,
the
right?
chambers issue.
But,
I wonder.
I did too, but, now,
Reed Street already.
there are options, it's Reed Street.
Except it's all
Actual protected bike lane, so just.
Correct.
Unprotected.
So it wasn't decided, we have to go to experts anyway. Well, no matter what we think, I think is politically correct, we'll fight it out.
All right,
So
so,
that's not the way the DOT wants it.
so you leave.
Let's put that on our agenda and fight about once more, come up with a solution.
Yeah, because
Yeah, that's a big one.
Needed.
We recently talked about the improvement. Coming right off the bridge and they mentioned that this is all.
Right down easy.
Yes, when Patrick comes back, let's ask him about this.
yeah.
Oops, right there.
It's
I
very,
almost got hit tonight coming here.
Oh, yeah,
It's,
it's hard.
so I would like to have, we said we would have Patrick back for a follow-up on that design.
Yes, we did.
And we could ask for the Greenway connection update at that time as well.
I think that whole area, including the bike lane, is a great project for us to take on
I did too.
more than we have already.
See, this budget discussion is excellent for
Yes.
getting us to prioritize our efforts.
A budget is an expression of your priorities.
It's what they say.
All right, so we'll leave it for now, I guess.
Yep. All right, C42.
It's no longer.
Okay, it's no longer in the budget, but Kate, Wayne Street does not want cobblestones restored. Please don't put it in arts.
When were there, do,
Or put in
Okay.
arts.
They are
ask
under,
for
they
asphalt.
they are underneath the asphalt currently. So the Wilshire block has been paved over already. There's no point in restoring them, and the residents don't want them. They're too noisy.
I'll also, okay, noted. I'll also just add for all of the cobblestone requests that you submitted last year, our office, we're going to check in with our team that is responsible for the cobblestone repairs to see if there are any status updates, or if the ones you've previously requested are going to be worked on soon, and if there's a better way for you to make these requests moving forward.
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
nice.
42.
E42 is vague. I don't see this as even a budget request.
I don't even know where it's supposed to happen.
Well,
District-wide.
Yeah, this is,
and we've already asked Kate to find out if there's even money for studies.
Right.
Yeah, we're still working on some of the questions you sent, Betty.
Can I just cut this one?
Can I suggest that we cut this because it's too vague, and if we have specific requests, we come back to Kate with them?
absolutely. This is cobblestone.
Okay, so C43 is also cut
Oh.
because of.
Yeah, it's arts.
3 public bathrooms.
Hmm.
Yeah,
This one, in fact, the DOT has already put it in a city report. So they are obviously very, aware. They have already listed it for an APS to go, right? Wait, automated system. So do you want to continue since it's already gotten DOT's attention, obviously, and as I said, the DOT has already listed it to meet this law.
yeah, I think this falls under, like, us just expressing support, which I don't think is appropriate for the budget. Anyone else?
Correct, no, at this point, I'd say take it
Yeah, it's
out.
just a support thing.
It's better follow up, because in fact, there was another public bathroom request.
Yeah, we're not ready.
They could both be done together.
Okay.
Okay, so E43.
This is the most satisfying thing I've ever done. E43.
Sidewalk vault inspection program? Is sidewalk vault inspection part of DOT's purview?
No, they.
No.
Commission, no, so they made,
It's not.
Isn't this between the property owner and the
Yeah.
DOT?
This is, I mean, the property owner is responsible for the sidewalk on top of the vault.
Okay, you're 48.
it's not.
It's not, it's not.
Yeah, I
Okay.
missed that. Thank you, guys.
That's
Okay.
probably Durham. I don't know, actually, who regulates the vault.
Because it's not even a budget request.
It might even be DEP.
Well, for
Or
remote
might-
consents to put things on top, it's DOT.
And it might be MTA.
It is, they were in the process of changing the rule, but then they didn't. So they have very limited control over this.
Okay.
Or did, according to the rule they were trying.
Okay, C45. Started the construction of a bus stop in front of PS 276. Okay,
Under review.
why is this under the New York City Transit Authority?
Because they had those.
Hmm.
Even construction involvement?
Well, this is MTA as well as DOT, because the bus stops are owned by DOT, but the buses are MTA.
That's enough. Thank you.
But we can't make requests of the MTA. Right. We're
That's what it's
requests.
Is there already a bus stop at this location and the request is for a bus shelter?
No,
What?
not exactly. I can explain that.
Okay.
The bus stop is around the front of the hotel. And there used to be a stop in front of 276 that was allowed for the downtown connection. And the sight lines coming around for the school are very, very difficult. So the concern and the thought process was if we could get a bus stop in front of the school, potentially, the downtown connection could stop there as it used to. And it would also force people to stop for traffic because we don't have a crossing guard there either. And it's around a tough corner. No one can see the stop sign. People blow through it all the time because it's around a corner. And yes, there's plenty of stop ahead and school zone and things like that. And the school requested to have a bus stop over there.
So when you said bus stop, it's for downtown connections and a school bus stop, not MTA, right?
It was for a look because there is an MTA bus stop around the corner that potentially could be moved. I mean, the entire street is kind of a problem because of the way the buses go, but that doesn't seem to be able to be fixed. I'm not sure why, but.
And why is this a budget request as opposed to like an operational question for Kate to come back on?
It's been in the budget for a long time. We were told to put it there. If there needs to be a change to that, I mean, it doesn't make a difference to me. I just want to make sure that the school is well taken care of. Right now, it's immaterial because it's in the middle of a construction zone, so it can wait, but the construction zone will be done in 2025.
I think it makes sense to say what kind of bus stop.
Oh, you-
But it's not
Well,
relevant.
The bus stop is, isn't the bus stop only a block away?
But because of sight lines, she was saying that it's a safer area to move the bus stop to.
Well, not exactly.
Well, the school is requesting it, so I think they would know better than us.
I think maybe it would be great to have a DOT study. Maybe we can just turn that into a study of how to improve the area.
It still say what kind of bus.
So can we put it with the group of traffic studies that DOT is gonna come to the committee and present on then?
Yeah.
Because it's,
Asking for a broad study to redesign the area, it's just.
because Kate's gonna come back to us and let us know whether or not studies can be funded through the budget process anyway. So,
I know you have problems with asking that someone come and present in general.
I would like this area particularly because it is a school. And because the Battery Park City Authority did not add a bike lane or bike transition in front of Wagner. And because the school has safety issues, there's no chance of a crossing guard. That we leave this as a identifiable zone because it's a dangerous place. And if we can't
What
get
kind of bus? That's all I'm saying is be a little more specific about what sort of bus stop are we asking them to study?
I think maybe we should just ask for safety and sightline improvements then, and for a study to see how that could be done. If that's if Kate thinks that's a better way to go about it, the school's been requesting a bus stop closer to their place because they felt it would stop all the traffic, which would be better for the kids for school safety. But maybe it's just time when Wagner reopens to take a new look at that entire area because they've now added an additional driveway over there and an additional loading area.
Kate, is this more likely to be looked at through a resolution or a budget request?
Just hearing the context that was shared very briefly now, this may make more sense as a resolution. Because, you know, that we receive requests from other community boards to relocate bus stops, where our bus stop management team will survey the location, and if it's an MTA bus, we'll coordinate with MTA on the feasibility. I can take this question back to my colleagues and see if it's effective as a budget request, but a resolution I think would also could be sufficient.
We did a resolution on a bus stop. Kate, how do you feel about the new usages on Battery Place that are just down the road? So where NYPD used to do their rally and lineup, and there was then from the no parking to a bus stop. Right after the bus stop, there's now a driveway entrance into the new building in the park, and there's new usage on the street.
Is that for another MTA bus stop?
No, that one's going to be relocated back to where it's supposed to be. You know, we've been told that that one's going to stay there.
And on Battery Place and separate from this.
Okay.
request.
Yeah.
If I have to be honest, I'm not familiar with the context of that one. So if you want to send me an email, a note offline, then I can check with our bus stop management folks.
Okay, sounds great. Happy to do so.
Thanks.
Okay, so just to be clear then, that this is not a budget item, it's a resolution, and it sounds like a topic.
We already did a resolution once. So until Kate gets back to us and we wind that up, I'd like it to remain.
When did you pass that resolution?
2 years ago, before construction at Wagner started.
Okay.
So let's just, okay, so hold on to this for a second. I will also change the capitalization of bus stop because it's funny. E46.
Oh, and change it to DOT.
Yeah.
Change it.
No, we
And it was
can't change these.
Oh.
These are,
the agency puts
the
those.
city put those there.
But we did want to, but Tammy did want to add safety and sightline improvements as a potential description.
We need to.
We're gonna flag this for some.
Jose, just flag it forward and
Okay, E46,
Bingo.
way too vague, if you ask me.
yeah. But it's definitely all school zones.
Yeah.
I should get rid of that one.
Okay. E46 is gone, it's too vague.
So are you gonna put something in for the school zones? I mean, this is, I appreciate people saying it's too big and we can certainly add locations to it, but we have struggles because we don't have crossing guards. We're not getting crossing guards. That's been made perfectly clear.
We agree with the problem, it's about the vehicle for
Addressing
changing it. And we're asking a budget request, we just want traffic calming measures in school zones, and that's
Look at it, that's almost every street.
gonna be ignored. Right?
Does it get ignored, or are there possibilities to add things like that in every school zone? That's a question.
So maybe you could, what would be a specific traffic calming device that you would put in front of 234, just to name something specific that I can wrap my head around? Camera, but those are state controlled, right?
A curb bulb out with a boulder.
There is a crossing guard right
Granite
before though by chance.
That's true, but like, give me, Tammy, can you give me an example of where there isn't?
Sure, I could tell you at PSIS 89, they talked about doing a speed bump on the street. They talked about having, you know, we can't do curb bump outs on West Street, but around 234 curb bump outs could be helpful, right, at the corners. Other traffic calming measures include stops, yields, all kinds of other things like that.
So maybe it makes sense instead to create the list of schools, ask them for their traffic calming measure, and submit that as a budget item once we've identified them.
It seems like something that needs like a lot more input and like thought by us.
Right. Are we gonna be more successful if we can give DOT like some specifics?
Because every street is different.
Right.
Layout, different
Right.
problems as far as the traffic flow.
My only
We're not-
DOT has always said to us that you ask for calming measures and they determine what those will be. We don't ask for specific ones because you can.
People have their required.
It's true, but you have to name all schools.
I like it the way it is, it like, they'll do the legwork that instead of us going to every school, they'll see each school is gonna have, each street's gonna have a different requirement. We're just asking them to check everything for, safety for the kids.
But also, look at the response we've already gotten. It's a
Mhm.
request should be directed to the borough commissioner, and the borough commissioner will work with the community to assess the need. So
So it's not a budget request, it's a,
Maybe narrow it, like maybe prioritize to one or two and, you know, kind of focus it. And then if you get those, then you can move
Go to
on
the
to the
next
next set. But I think the broad brush isn't getting us anywhere.
yeah, I think that this is a resolution directed to the DOT borough commissioner, is what they're saying. Right?
That's what they're saying, I guess.
I just,
Well, it's just too big for anybody to do anything with
yeah,
it.
I just don't.
So we have to target the school and the reasoning behind it, so.
Okay, so yeah, because it says there should be directed to the commissioner. Okay, so that's a better vehicle to advocate for this than a budget request.
Can I ask a quick side question? Just like about cameras, you know, who or how, what determines whether or not, you know, a school zone speed camera or not? Who makes that? I mean, so how, but what are the factors they're going to, like a yes or a no?
They have a
You have a
certain
limited
amount.
number.
That's a big one.
750,
But
it's around 750.
No, it's 1,800.
I don't
That's
remember.
right.
Yeah,
It's
1,800.
not 200.
Well, they expanded it, right?
they expanded it last summer.
Very.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
There's a cap. But that's still, that's the question, like which districts or which school zones get it? What kind of a portion?
Well, it's not just school zones, there are lots of other needs.
But I mean, it has to be within a
Has to be
certain
within it, yeah. Like,
range of a school.
In our district, there's one little corner area that
That's
doesn't
not-
qualify.
Quarter mile of a school.
Oh.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, no, it's a big range, so.
Okay, so on E46, we're saying that we're gonna address this through resolution.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it-
Let's
the
start.
agency
48.
already
We'll come
told
back
us
to that
to.
one. This one's arts gone.
Oh, yeah, it's gone, arts.
E49. Please reach out to DOT, I mean to NYPD. That's not a good thing to hear.
This is all Holland Tunnel.
Yeah, that's not helpful. Let you go.
I'm putting it with the Holland Tunnel follow-up.
You're right. So this is already being studied, isn't it? Wait, the thing just on.
On Hudson Street.
C50.
See that I'm like,
What are you doing with
Wait.
49?
E49. Why is E49 is part of, yeah.
48, even 48 and 49.
Yeah.
Also,
Okay.
Wait, so what?
I-
say-
Why are you removing the request for signage? Unless you're just combining it into one with all the addresses?
And were you here when we talked about the arts process? We were told by DOT that this is not the proper avenue for it through the budget, that there's a separate system they have where these requests go.
So items that are of this level, like asking for a sign, go into the arts, their portal for these type of things. Anyway, remember the acronym for arts?
Yep.
I wrote it.
Agency response tracking system.
There it is.
So yeah, and they've said in the agency response time, you know, if it mentions arts, we're just cutting them because they've already told us.
Yep, gotcha.
They've already recommended.
I just want to ask Kate then, there was supposed to be follow-up with the Tribeca North group on potential measures that were supposed to be implemented. Do we have any dates or confirmations on any of that? And should that be in the budget lines for continuing, because we did get notification by letter that something was potentially going to happen?
So I don't have a timeline update, but after meeting with Tribeca North Neighborhood Association, we are planning to develop a SIP, a street improvement project around the Holland Tunnel exit at Hudson Street and Erickson. So right now we are still coming up with potential designs before we go to the Port Authority, who would be our partner if for any implementation. So that's the latest right now.
So since we're we've already done resolutions a long time ago on all of this kind of stuff in that area. Do we need to put in the budget process here a line about the SIP for the area?
I don't think so because our SIPs come out of our expense funding, but I will double check.
So that needs to be noted for our purposes to go into the expense lines. Not capital, obviously.
Okay, so C50 is out, is it state?
It's state, and it's also, there are studies ongoing about the bike lane there, right? This is
Which one are we on now?
C50.
Yeah, that's state DOT.
Yeah, we started to meet the study of microtransport on 9A.
This is out of our.
I would delete it. Sorry. It's moved on and we're actually going in the right direction.
Asking the traffic enforcement agency here is not.
Okay, okay, so E50 is out.
E50 is also out.
It goes to NYPD. Don't remove it. Move it to the proper agency and department. It goes to
Okay.
quality of life for NYPD.
It is under MYPD.
Yeah, so it's out of our purview.
It should be for a different committee.
So what
Okay.
committee are you putting it in?
Quality of life.
Does it need approval? Even if you would change the committee, usually we're gonna follow it.
Exactly. No.
Okay.
Cedar Alley behind the Park Road line.
So this is what,
Oh,
resurfacing?
but this is another
Yeah.
resurfacing, so again, that should be done through arts, right, those
Mhm.
requests? Especially when it's very specific.
It looks like it's more that it's a request of the Manhattan Borough Commissioner. Is there-
For Theater Alley, I can check if that location has been rescheduled for resurfacing and when it was last resurfaced.
So you want to keep it until we hear back, or what do we?
Yeah, sounds good.
Well, then we don't really need it, because it's being followed up on, you don't need to.
I mean, if it's already scheduled, that means that they already have budgeted for it.
Sorry, I said I would have to check if it's been
You're gonna
scheduled
check.
and when it was last paved.
So-
Which means it should stay there temporarily, people, until they get an answer.
Oh, what the year before.
51.
Okay, this is also part of the SIP, right? E51.
Sure, I mean.
It's 51.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
It is, all right.
So this is all SIP.
And
So all the SIP stuff we were deleting until they come back and give us the update.
Right, and we have time at that time. Obviously, they're in the process of doing it, so.
Correct, so it goes out.
Speed camera, this is all for the, right, Hudson south of Lee.
yes.
Yeah.
So that goes,
Pearl Street between Mainland and Flat. This is another resurfacing, I guess.
yes.
Okay.
So Kate, will you add it to your list of resurfaced streets to check on?
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
You're the best.
So should we also keep this one until we hear back?
Yes, that's C54.
This is C55, let's not have this discussion again, it's a duplicate.
No, it's a duplicate.
This one, part of 54, it was done.
Was it?
Yeah, but it was done poorly.
Oh, it was done, but done,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's,
Yeah.
Keep it and.
Well,
And what
a different issue then.
poorly is because water collects. This is where you have the parking for the Trinidad and Tobago consulate. They have the federal vehicles there and they park in sludge, in garbage sludge. And I think that's embarrassing to have that.
So let's leave it, and
Yeah.
maybe you can help us reword it. Or,
If water collects and rainwater, that could be DOT, it could also be,
DEP, if it's rain, DEP, yeah.
well, let's make it more specific and find out.
It's gonna, yeah.
right, well, it says to correct pitch, fill potholes, and remedy drainage issues. Let's add remedy drainage issues.
Yeah, drainage is, well, I don't know, DEP or DOP.
Well, we get some people looking at it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. C55. People get it. Go on.
Okay.
E57. We're even trying.
Oh. I don't have an update on that. Kate, do you know the status of their discussions at Barnett Newman and Commissioner Pinkar?
That I have to check on as well.
So then we should leave it.
That needs to stay. Alice can update us at exec or full board. She has an update.
Yeah.
Can we, okay, can we send this one to the executive then?
But it should go to DEP, not DOT.
Which is why, yeah, we should get it out here.
Well,
It may be both.
yes.
According to the DOT agency response,
But
it
it
belongs to
is-
DEP.
It is already, wait, are
The
you,
agency response was, this should reach out to the DEP regarding this request.
Yes.
So the DOT response.
I'm good with that. I have no troubles with it.
That's this. E61 is another generalized grievance.
Right.
I want a full freaking audit. I don't see why we can't get one, honestly. At this rate, it's like handing out Tic Tacs.
I don't understand the point. So so help me understand so the budget is an expense item for them to do a full audit. And what happens with the audit? Does it come back to community board or is it like
The audit should be able to look at the placards, see who has them, see who doesn't need them, and reduce the number of placards on our curbs. Period. Other than agency parking. I mean, you've got agencies that move from building to building in the last couple years.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, so let's be more specific, and I think we.
Yeah, I think audit of curbside parking regulations to prevent abuse by placard vehicles is fine, but like for a variety of other uses other than agency parking could be anything. That's like
but I don't even
city
think,
bikes, could be
No.
anything.
I don't think audit curbside parking regulations is even the thing,
It's part
because
of the use of placard.
audit the disobedience of curbside parking regulations.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
I think we're all saying the same thing, so we maybe.
Right, we just need to rewrite this because
They're
they're not gonna get anything done.
CB1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Audit of what?
Or the non-agents, what is the question I'm confused about? We're auditing and saying they just have too much space, or are we saying
I
it's
think,
being used inappropriately and there's no enforcement? I mean, what are we saying?
I think this is going to be a generalized grievance against placards, and it's just going to be an expression of our frustration. That's what
I think it's the second best you said, which is fine.
But I think we also don't like placards get handed out, period. I mean, I think Kate needs to tell us, right? Do you ever get placards handed back? When the new mayors come in, do they just keep applying for new placards? What's the point?
Expired all anyway,
No, they expire.
but they use expired ones and they're still.
Yeah, it's way bigger than mine.
Yeah, so it's the kind of thing that each agency, there should be an audit of all the agency placard parking and to see if we're going down this road for congestion pricing and telling everybody that they need to be on a mass transit, they need to be on mass transit. And the only way you're going to do that is by rescinding placards.
I think we're down to now asking
Couldn't agree
Mark,
more. All right, well, okay.
Chris Marquet to pass some
There
legislation.
is legislation proposed to do just what you said. I think we have residents supporting it, don't we?
Yes, we do.
So if we have legislation pending and we have a resolution supporting what, so it's a budget item because it isn't.
Well, to me, it isn't. We're just gonna do it. And it's still gonna be a lot more specific
I mean,
around.
yeah, I mean, I guess an audit is different than revoking them, but I mean, I agree. I mean, I think this is like subject of so much debate elsewhere that we should.
I think if we don't put it anywhere, we
In the
never.
moon and leave it there, because we cut so much else, we just leave the flag in the moon in the budget.
We'll leave it.
But it's also that people without even placards are.
Can we make it not an audit, but like a culling? It's not like we don't really care about an audit. What we want is a retraction of all.
Right, but in
Budget.
order to do that, you have to have an overarching agency who issues them, audit all of them to rescind it. That's labor, that's manpower.
Well, I mean, can't you just,
Yeah,
the
DOT
legislature removes the ability to use a placard? Like, then you can have it, you can put it in a picture frame, but it's worthless at that point. But I see what you're saying, but like, I think if the legislation passes, they're revoked, they're worthless.
But there's so many.
I think the legislation is never passing. That's my issue.
Well, that's the problem.
And I think that if we don't start asking our agencies to be more accountable to help in this process, it's galling to me to have the conversations consistently, even this one that we had in this committee about the Brooklyn Bridge bike lanes. And then I challenge every one of you, when you leave Community Board 1 tonight, if you're in person, walk out, walk down Park Row, cross the street and see what's parked there. It's not legal. There's no enforcement. And there are people with placards, Jersey plates with placards. They should be not here.
Right, but the budget's not the place to do that, right? I mean,
They don't have manpower on DOT. DOT has already been reported as stretched thin. I mean, Kate can argue with me and tell me they're fully staffed and everything's great. But my understanding is that DOT is stretched thin. They have a new program of outdoor dining. They have inspectors, they have this, they have that. But they're stretched pretty thin with the amount of jobs that they've been handed.
I just had a thought, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but like, wouldn't the data that an audit would provide, a grounds, potentially lead to a groundswell of opinion beyond people that live in the neighborhood, now?
Do you know how many articles there are that are built with it in huge detail? Do you know how many city-funded studies there have been done that do that? Do you know how you can look on Twitter accounts and see one posting after another about it being done? There's no real mystery about it.
They're not gonna police themselves, that's.
right, an audit of
They're not gonna police, they're not gonna, unless, like you said, it comes from an outside agency, it's not gonna happen because this discussion has been going on for 40 years.
I mean, I think an outside.
But it doesn't hurt to ask.
Audit or investigation, I don't know.
I'd rather DOT
Okay,
spend money
let
on.
me reworded it to audit of agency parking placards issued by agency, include the number by each agency, what positions they're issued to, and reasoning for each position that are getting the placard, and then we can move it to executive.
It is an expression of what we believe.
It's specific.
Yeah, it's more specific.
Yeah.
Okay, we're keeping it in.
Better one than the other one. Right?
Exactly.
Thank you, Zach.
Okay. This is,
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
section,
Yeah,
this is
cobblestone.
the guidelines. This is more general. This is tracking with our resolution that we had.
Yes, this one I think we leave in.
In fact, the previous year, the DOT after supported it,
Okay, so, yeah, so we'll,
acknowledge they knew.
E62.
E64, Hubert and Hollister. Is that Holland Tunnels?
That's part of the SIP. That's the SIP area.
Yeah.
So it's gone, it's to follow up.
Study locations for parking, parking for the district. So broad.
Yeah.
Maybe 62.
No, for keeping it.
In,
That's E60.
because it's.
Well, there was no 63?
We have, yes.
There wasn't.
YCDOT is currently implementing a pilot program to address this condition. So that's basically what we want, more than one.
So it's already being done,
So
like
that's
55.
out.
So it's gone.
Okay.
So does that, so then you change the budget item to continue funding for? If
Okay.
it's in progress, you leave it as a continue funding.
Okay. All right.
Which will get rid of the priority through the, yes.
Any fun? Next and last. E66, Best Street and Washington
That's the
is.
SIP.
That's the SIP.
Maybe Ward. West Thames Ward.
Ward is not. If you're talking about Ward Street,
This is about drainage.
yeah,
on Ward Street.
that's when they repaved Joseph P. Ward. Betty knows this well. The corner of Joseph P. Ward, the sidewalk, the curb, and the streets just don't work right.
Okay.
And
So can we put this with, arts and the
No,
request
because it's
for?
EP.
Well,
And also-
continued funding.
It also says, yeah,
Not a priority.
it also says, please contact the agency directly and promptly for more information. When we get that, do we contact them?
good question.
And who does, and who is supposed to do that?
That would be the office and district manager.
Oh, great. Sorry, Zach.
Oh,
Sorry, Zach.
Yeah, we should put a budget request for overtime.
I mean, it should then come back to the committee, make a decision on it, and then like they all have to, this is the process. This is where we're reviewing the responses that they're giving us. So if you give me directive from here, I can take action.
So I think for this, it goes as a budget item, but we have to follow up, we have to contact. Or
I think we leave it in if that's the case, right? If we've gotten an under review and we are supposed to follow up, but we haven't yet. Do we do that? We leave it on here and then remove it after we follow up, or?
Bingo.
Yeah, I would agree with that, yeah.
Bingo.
it's also DEP.
It's DEP.
Can we take?
It's a combination because you can't fix one without the other in that particular location. And maybe now there'll be renewed focus and attention because there's a new homeless shelter down the street.
So really bring it up.
So let's leave that one. So then we leave that in and then we take it out if Zach follows up and finds out that there's been a negative or something like that. Does that make sense?
Sure.
We'll see what happens with this budget.
Okay, now we're talking about Edgar Street.
This is actually, this is done.
This is done.
Okay.
Is it really?
School's open.
School's
I mean, it's,
Yes and no. So the school is there, right? But funds were not allocated to be able to take one lane. Right, so,
to build a curb out.
Yeah.
Build a sidewalk.
So
Right.
we,
and if you remember, the kids, the school came with the PTA and there was a large discussion with the school and the PTA about the potential for a crosswalk once the construction is done on Trinity, just north of the school, on the bottom of the exchange that dead ends into the sidewalk of the school. So there might be opportunities there.
that was PS 150, right?
Yes.
That's
That's
what
what it
50.
was.
Same area, but it's.
It's same school.
This is-
Same school.
So it's just that the first sentence needs to be revised because.
Yes.
It's
So revise it.
Definitely.
first sentence has to go.
Yeah.
So funds are needed to complete the project, to close a lane and create an expanded sidewalk.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a matter of asking to build out the sidewalk,
Right.
the capital improvement. So it's a pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea.
Although this says arts. in the response.
Oh, that's it.
It
Yeah,
does.
it's ours.
It says the agency cannot give priority to this, so it sounds like they've already looked at it, and in fact, didn't we already? And then it's in arts for other things.
Yeah.
But they're changing it. What I'm saying is, if it's being changed, we're just having to ask them for it and saying, you know what, why don't we ask them to build out? Right now, the latent traffic is there and it functions sometimes, the school's not. If they want to build it out, build the curb all the way out to the median, but there's more gathering space that's elevated, and that's a different request. That's a capital request to build out the sidewalk and start scheduling to do it. What I'm trying to clarify, have they changed their mind and they want to leave it as a street, function some of the times as a street? Or do they really want to have it as a capital project, and what is now lanes of traffic will become part of the sidewalk?
So is there a current resolution that describes what they're asking for?
Well, before they were asking for,
But that concurrent, this goes back years.
yeah, they wanted the street to be one way.
Well, no, they were getting rid of the westbound lane.
When was it?
That-
You're talking like years ago?
I remember it before COVID or the year 2018, 2019. It was.
So it seems like before we should make a request, we have to reach out to the school and see what they even.
They were here. They've been here several times. Rosa, they were here most recently. I want to say in the spring about the crosswalks.
Right, but that's a different request.
We can take a look and see what they said at that meeting, because it was all, the asks have continued and they filed for, what do you call it? A street program where they can close the street during specific times for arrivals and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's an ongoing work in progress that's complicated by the construction project.
We can't do it now.
Yes, right.
So I suggest that we take out the first sentence and the last sentence. Funds are needed to complete.
No, but we don't know that they
We
even,
don't know if the school really still wants it.
we don't know that they want to close the lane or expand the sidewalk.
How they know?
Yes, we do. They have said it numerous times. They've just not been able to get it. It's still an ask that they make every single time. So it's not that we don't know, it's just that it hasn't been done.
I've asked them, and I said no. There were advantages to being able to be an operational road some of the time, and so they wanted use of it, and they wanted it closed. But they had changed their position. They were kind of waffling around with, did they really want the sidewalk built so that it's permanently closed?
So that,
We'd need to hear from them, very specific to that issue.
so then,
Maybe we kick it to Youth and Ed then, Tammy? I mean, I don't want it to go away.
Kick it down to exec. I spoke to the principal last week when I was at their meeting. So I'm happy to reconnect and talk to the principal again. He called
Yes.
me about permits and SAPO and everything else. I have no troubles reconnecting with him.
great.
Okay, so, yeah, if you could revise the language for us.
Conditional approval.
No, it's going to fix that.
Okay,
Yeah, just move it over.
Okay, it's fine.
Specifically says, let's build out the sidewalk. All the other stuff's irrelevant to that one.
It's hard, so no. Okay, now these are the three that you added. So deployable, being added to protect.
oh, the texted
Yeah.
rap,
Do we want to move that to environmental?
but we don't know what it even says because the texted rap.
No, it's asking about a street plan.
No, you're still on the last one.
Can you read it out loud to us, because we can't see it?
Yeah,
We're on
E.
E
Yeah, we have this.
You know, I tried to get it to wrap and it was,
57,
I mean,
69.
Yes.
yeah.
the soil is also being added to protect buildings we know around the financial district. This will block the sidewalk in many locations, and there was a request for plan for how this will be mobility for cars, bicycles, and pedestrians.
We recently asked for this in that
Right,
resolution,
when deployed.
so it should be there, right?
Okay.
That's how we discussed it
oh, I see.
a couple months ago and said, we put it in the budget.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
it should,
That's our
we already said
Okay.
it should be there. So we were really just talking about this, right? This is the area. Edgar Street. Exchange Valley, Trinity Place, we're talking about PS 150 again, aren't we?
Yes.
Um,
But now we're into.
Wait.
Walk.
So,
Right.
so I'm sorry, on the deployables, what are specifically are we asking for in that wrap text that I can see?
Okay, deployables are being added to
Yeah.
protect buildings from flood damage.
Right,
Create and make public a plan for safe, accessible mobility for all road users, including pedestrians with disabilities, during states of emergency when deployables are activated, and make the sidewalks inaccessible.
okay, so create and make available a plan.
Yes. And again, that's something that we'd already asked for in the resolution. We said we wanted, but
Right. It came, if people remember, it came out of a presentation that came to the community board about the deployables going around a building where they were completely obscuring one sidewalk on the street. And
I
their
just wanted
answer
to make-
was, the other side of the street is open. And our answer was, what if that building does the same thing?
Yeah, no, I was missing the language about the specific ask, and I want to make sure that we're being specific with our ask, so create and make plan available.
because
Thank you.
You do the
the
same.
next one is create a street redesign plan that calms traffic and allows pedestrians, including wheelchair users and people with visual impairments, to safely walk as directly as possible to the entrance of PS 150 using realistic routes to cross Trinity Place from the east and Greenwich Street from the west. Current crosswalk locations are not satisfactory or used by many PS 150 families. This again, we have a resolution. We already supported this.
We
Right.
talked about it.
Can we add the language, create and make available a street redesign, so, and make it, create and make available.
Pages.
I'm just mirroring the language before.
Because the public doesn't need to know about it. That's very different. If they are going to be shutting down the streets when deployables are up, people need to know what they're supposed to do.
Oh, I see.
They're gonna sidewalk.
Okay,
Okay.
This one is a matter of when there's a crosswalk, you're gonna be able to figure out. There's a
Got it.
crosswalk.
makes sense. Thank you.
Best for last. LaGuardia Airport as a destination ferry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the three resolutions that we talked about.
Yes.
Is how do people feel? I mean, why did we limit it to LaGuardia and not include JFK in our ask?
We didn't include JFK because of the environmental,
Because it's a much more fragile ecosystem.
although I know it's already been dredged up.
I was gonna say it's already been dredged and they already have, I don't know if people are aware or not, but they already have they dredged it for construction anyway. And so there is already a trenched channel there. And they have a place that the barges bring equipment that docks next to a parking lot. So the construction vehicles come over to where the dock is, unload on the property in a parking lot, and then bring it through the airport. I've been doing a little.
I also want to add, JFK, they also have barges, fuel barges that go there. So I mean, there is maritime traffic that reaches JFK. But I remember, I didn't support the JFK putting it in the resolution is because they already have an air train, whereas LaGuardia has nothing except a bus. That was part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something we can come back to. I think that at the time, we really only agreed on LaGuardia. But let's talk more about
Was
it.
there any reason not, if we were to include JFK, not to include Newark also, was there a reason not to do that? I
Well,
forgot.
if you remember Newark, there's that,
There was the path train.
and there's also,
Right.
there's also a effort underway.
Very young.
Yeah,
Fast ferry and
I
helicopter,
forgot.
Which was awesome, if you remember.
Yeah.
whatever happens.
If it ever.
Take the path to Newark.
Yeah, so, yeah, let's certainly come back to that.
Bus, two buses.
Yeah, that was the problem.
McDonald's.
Consensus at the moment. So let's move on with LaGuardia and we're.
Budget's done.
So Betty, so can we add anything else to these? Or
Yeah, $1.50.
Why, what? Okay. Before can we just celebrate how many are left?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Let's, what are we down to in terms of streamlined budgeting? How many requests do we have
Listen.
for our committee?
Now,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or do you highlight this cell?
Feel about 13.
Well, that's 2 feet now.
Let me hear a little gesture, praise God.
Hand side.
And you could just impose
So much
it.
as powder.
We'll go back.
Yes,
Roughly 15.
fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Before where we should be in terms of getting.
Congratulations, guys. You did an amazing job.
Some of the.
We had a follow-up thing from the last meeting. Were we gonna prioritize them out of this committee? Or-
We have so few.
I didn't.
I don't want to get onto the resolution, so
Oh.
that's really what.
Okay.
The debate.
All right, what do you want to do? Want to do your slides?
Yeah, since I turned off my computer. And see the side.
Congratulations, guys. You did a really awesome job for the committee. So thank you for the work.
You get the award for committees. Well done.
Yes, well, everyone should have already looked at the resolution from, well, if he wants to CB2, you know, has looked at the one that's proposed for CB1. Any questions, comments? I think it's
Talking about?
Yes,
You wanna go-
extending the bus from 14 down to the World Trade
Well,
Center.
yes, not Chambers, it's
We'll
further
look
down.
at that too, and this, yeah, Eric, you want to bring up your point here?
Oh, yeah, I think it's a very practical idea for CB1 as well as the other CB, if they extend the M12 bus south. But I think it should go farther into CB1, especially World Trade Center, where you have transfer to the subway, various lines in town.
No objection to that.
No objection
No.
at all.
Add that.
Can I make a suggestion that we don't prescribe which bus? We leave that to the MTA to figure it out. So there is bus availability that goes all the way down to the Battery. And the reason
I
why it's
agree.
not World Trade Center, but the Battery is if you notice the ticket hawkers, they all have private buses that take people out of Lower Manhattan up to the west side. So to, Pier 90, all the boat piers where they have their tour boats posted. So I would like to suggest that we don't prescribe which bus, that we leave that to MTA to figure it out, and that we request that it comes from all the way at the bottom, linking anybody who got off the Staten Island ferry or from Bowling Green, that they could then get on a bus to go to the west side.
That's great. And I agree that we shouldn't mention the M12. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah, that makes,
Great, but You want to mention some other locations, such as, we'll mention World Trade Center? Eric?
do we want to mention it? Because will they
I
think
don't
we
see-
want, sorry, if I could ask that?
Unless the committee really wants a bus to South Ferry. I mean, there's no harm in saying it, but we do have trains that go directly to South Ferry already. And they're all.
But you don't
already
have,
other buses.
you can't get off the train and get anywhere up the very, very far west side besides Lower Manhattan. So if you got off that ferry and you wanted to go to Chambers Street, you can do that, right? But if you want to go from
Pier 40.
to Pier 40 to anything basically north of Harrison Street, there's no place for you to do that.
Right.
That's where I'm going, is that they need to figure out a way to redo the bus lines. And I'm not the bus expert to tell them how, whether it's the 20, the 12, the 22, I don't know, but they need to figure out a way to hook the mass transit system in Lower Manhattan to be able to contact and reach all the developed areas on the west side that actually go all the way up to 59th Street. You shouldn't have to make 3 bus, transfers to get to 59th Street on the west side.
See, CB2 already made that suggestion, and if we have 2 CBs saying the same thing, it also makes it more effective or more persuasive.
They said what?
On the CB2, they actually said extend to M12.
They did, right.
Yeah, they
right.
did, the chambers.
Because
And
that's their bus.
right, but we can make suggestions, of course, and the MTA planners and the DOT can always come back with their own, with what they, in their expert opinion on what they think it should be. I can go either way on it. I
What's
mean,
the benefit of saying, like, of prescribing a route though? Like,
because it's, at least it identifies that we wanted to connect with, you know. with
Eric,
transport.
if you say including but not limited to, that's fine. But if you just request one, they have the availability to come back to you and say, sorry, that one doesn't work.
Yeah, you could just say, for example, the M12.
For example,
Not limited to the way Tony said, yeah.
Right.
Including but not limited to.
yeah, that's great.
I'd say
Therefore, be resolved.
I'm more concerned about the wording, but you say.
I think we agree on that.
It
well,
does
it's not
add,
clear what it is.
it does add context to what you're asking for.
Right, but I learned from last month, change the wording on the screen.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the therefore be resolved element, right? Is it?
Yes, it is.
Immediately upon pre from,
That's exactly where I care about the wording. I don't care about anywhere else.
but it doesn't say the M12 unless,
It does not say the M12. This is the ask.
right, so.
As far as pulling out the laws, this is another thing. The question is, it goes request a bus extend south to Chambers Street. What should it say for
Oh.
that portion?
The battery.
The battery.
But that's big. I wouldn't say just the battery, because we want to make sure that we get to Chambers Street.
At least World Trade Center, I'm just using that.
You think?
Yeah.
Extend the south at least to Chambers Street? Or,
And
Why can't we just say southernmost portion of Manhattan?
To the tip of Manhattan.
yeah, yeah,
Southern, connecting the mass transit opportunities from the southernmost portion of Manhattan to the west side corridors along Route 9A.
Up to 50.
Except say it backwards. Tammy, look at how you want it to go further request the bus route extends south to whatever you said.
Right, south to,
You know, it was
South Ferry,
To
Southernmost point of the
or to Bowling Green.
Can we put it, but at least Chambers Street, so we have some agreement with
Yeah.
the resolution?
I like,
What change that word is?
Well, if we put at least Chambers Street. that might
Extend
not-
south.
No, we're gonna add to it, but we wanna match CB2's wording and then add to it and say, and go
I think-
on.
I think you can do a further, therefore be it resolved, that we match their language and say further be it resolved that it should go.
their language sucked because it said preferably Chambers. We want to be more.
I don't, I think we include Chambers, but we want it to go to the southernmost tip.
South
Okay.
to include, can we just focus on
Right.
language?
May I make a suggestion that actually, and if someone's typing,
Wait a sec, Josie.
Well, to South Ferry, but at least
To
south, to South Ferry.
South Ferry. These two Chambers Street.
but instead of and, but at least to Chambers Street, because that doesn't make sense, and.
I wouldn't put Chambers Street.
Can you go back?
Wanting to match
CB2,
CB2, they
Could
mentioned.
you undo?
But-
And hit, extend to at least Chamber Street, which is what
That's right.
they added.
But
And
preferably,
continue south, and continue south,
But preferably South Ferry.
and
Yeah.
continue south.
You don't need to be that prescriptive. This is therefore.
Further, that's not less extend to it.
yes, I agree to extend to at least to Chambers and preferably go on
To
to
South.
South Ferry. Yeah, exactly.
Done.
That nods to the CB2, but it also says what we like.
I'll have to add a couple.
And I'm sure CB2 stopped where they stopped because they didn't want to step on our toes. They wouldn't know what we wanted.
Correct, because we had this conversation in the advisory council as
It
well.
only makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Street and to South, I don't know, just when you add the word preferably, it says we don't really want it. It's
Well,
like,
that's-
we wish it happens, but we're not really pushing for it.
So so to extend at least to include Chambers Street, the World Trade Center.
And South Ferry.
And
And
South Ferry.
And South
Yeah,
Ferry.
that
But that's
works.
what Tommy said, the southernmost point, that includes everything.
That does everything, yeah.
We're
We
making it
don't
more
need to
difficult.
name the stops. Some of the stops wanted to be named.
Sorry, Betty?
want to be specific about some of the stops.
I think we're getting too granular now. I think we're clear. We want the bus to come down.
Yeah, they'll figure out the stop, they'll make connections.
They're not gonna listen to us if we suggest bus routes. I mean, bus stops.
Right.
Right, but it doesn't take into account what Eric was advocating, which is that we would actually at least like it to go to the World Trade Center where they can make the transfer to the Fulton hub.
But there is a bus that goes to the World Trade Center already. You can take the
Down
M20. You can take the M20 and get off on South End Avenue. That drops you there.
So to extend to Chambers Street, World Trade Center, and South Ferry. Three ends, two ends.
You want to change that?
Change the street.
Thank you, I just want to name a few of the locations. Otherwise, I don't want a route that goes off in a different direction,
That's great. Okay.
and they can deal with the rest.
Take out the preferably, right?
Yes, you can get it. It's just listing 3 places.
Yes,
Those
yes.
excellent.
These two Chambers Street. I mean.
Those are Chambers, World Trade Center, and South Ferry.
Yes. Great.
Perfect.
Hey, you can see there's the second part of it too, so
Do
I'm
we
gonna
have
give
any motions?
All the questions.
second. Let's do it by affirmation. So you're yes, unless anyone vote no. Anybody vote recuse? Does anyone abstain? Thank you. Okay.
Fantastic.
We're on the bus.
I know my vote doesn't count, but I was a yes to everything.
I
Doesn't
did.
count tonight.
And Kate, are you still with us?
Still on, yep.
Wait, did Terry want to vote?
Oh, yeah, you know me, yes. I'd be thrilled and happy.
Yes, I just want Zach is trying to get his numbers right. And
Yeah.
Kate is defer to you.
Okay.
No, I was just gonna thank Kate for being here and getting through the budget and all the work on arts and the follow-up and stuff. It's really,
Yes.
thank you for being.
Thank you.
You filled the void.
Kate, can I ask, as long as you're still here for the 2 topics, we're kind of waiting to hear from as to whether or not, I know you may not be able to tell me, but we were hoping to get an update in October or November on the Brooklyn Bridge arches. Not in transportation, but I believe in parks with Gotham Park.
Yeah, we're talking internally about when we're gonna be back, or when we're going to come to the community boards to discuss the arches. So we'll be in touch about that. And I know you're also reaching out separately on the Chinatown connections and larger Park Row traffic study and SIP. So we'll be in touch soon about scheduling those
So the-
presentations.
Right. I really appreciate the partnership and thank you, everybody. I think the Transportation Committee doesn't get the kudos sometimes that you need, and you guys did amazing work, so thank you.
Well, feel free to chime in and give us kudos every time. we-
Depends.
And yeah, the pens are good too. All right, are we